Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai. Call Haloyim Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the bishops and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom and salutations to you brothers out here preaching the words of truth and sincerity, who's caught up in sincerely teaching the word and broadcasting and proclaiming the words of the Lord, including prophecy. Shalom and salutation to all you brothers out here and sisters, Akim and Akwav, listening to the words of the Lord. All right, this video is going to be on relationships and the changing of relationships. The word relationship from Google, the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected, connections, relations, associations. We're dealing with people today. It says the state of being connected by blood or marriage. And we're going to have a special focus on that. It says here family ties, family connection, blood relationships, blood ties, ancestry, lineage. We're going to deal with kinship, all of that today. All right. So the state of being connected by blood or marriage. When you go into Matthew 12, verse 46, as you can see here, the topic of these verses is called changed relationships. Relationships. And it reads, verse Matthew 12 and 46, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Brother Awar, Great Millstone, Birmingham, made a great point. Notice how it says his mother and his brethren stood without. The Lord said, talking to the people, there was always a multitude around him listening. Multitude of men, believers and non-believers still listening. But his mother and his brethren still without, desiring to speak with them, it says. That's an interesting point because, you know, this truth we in is like a small body. It's a circle. It's a brotherhood. Anybody without the brotherhood or outside of the brotherhood isn't considered to be a part of us. So that was a great point. Verse 47, through the Spirit. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. And they're talking to Yahushua now about his family members on the outside. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Another thing these scriptures might portray to the unlearned is that Yahushua, who the world calls ignorantly Jesus Christ, is being some form or some fashion disrespectful to his parents, right? You know that the scriptures tell you honor thy father and thy mother all the days of thy life. And it would seem here that the Lord is speaking disrespectfully. If this day and age, you be teaching out there in this world, you know, you teaching, and then your parents come around, or your mother and your brother come around, and they say, you know, they have somebody tap on your shoulder while you're speaking about the words of the Lord and prophesying, and then they say they want to talk to you. They're over there across the street. Are you gonna say, hey, I'll be right back? Or are you gonna say, you know, cut it right there? But the Yahushua didn't do that. He said, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Right? You know, in today's world, that would be considered disrespectful. Let me go on. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, right? Towards his disciples, meaning the ones that are within. Remember, his parents, mother and brethren are still without. His disciples were within. And said, behold, my mother and my brethren. So he pointed to his men that follow him and believe on him and believe in those words. He said, that's my mother and my brethren. He says, for whosoever, this is the kicker, shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So now we get clarity from verse 49. All right, that's clarity. These are my kins. This is my family. And that's why it's called changed relationships. See, people in your life who knew you or have family ties or blood links to you will always think that because of blood, they will always have that relationship with you, that same relationship. Like, because when you were 6 years old, they used to blow your snotty nose. They remember when you piss the bed and wet the bed. In some, I mean, come on. Even when it came to his Yahushua mother, I mean, she weaned him from the breast. I mean, she took care of him. And Yahushua loved his mother. However, when it came down to the work of his father, you see here, there's a change in the relationship. I'm no longer in service to you. Thank you, mother. Thank you. But I am no longer in servitude for you. I'm serving the Lord now. Let's get some scriptures to back up why Yahushua wasn't going off, why he wasn't being wicked and evil, and why he was in the right for saying that. And he's justified as much as every brother is justified for putting the work of the Father over the work of whatever your family members might think in those relationships that they want to stay stagnated forever. Matthew 10:37, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Yahushua put these words very simple and plain for us to know and understand in this day and age that no matter how strong these family ties are, no matter how strong that bloodline is, blood thicker than water, you could say it if you want to 1,000 times. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Emphasis on more than me. He's not saying don't love him. So you want to be worthy of the Father? You better not put anything above the Father. You remember that hierarchy that Corinthians talks about? There's a heavenly Father, Yahweh. Then underneath Yahweh is Yahushua, the Son. And then underneath the Son is man. And underneath the man is woman. Nothing goes above in rank, above your love for Yahushua. Who shall separate you from your love of Yahushua? Deuteronomy 33:9, and we'll get into it a little bit. It goes into the blessings of Moses, as you can see here. And Moses goes on to bless the congregation, the Israelites. Verse 33:4 says, Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. So he's talking to Israelites only here. It says here, and he was king in Jeshurun, which is another name for Israel, when the heads of the people in the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few. He's giving Reuben you could say like he's saying something nice about Reuben, right? He's giving them like a promise or a sincere mention, right? It's like when the award show and somebody says he's giving a speech and then you like to thank somebody or let this happen, and he gives them like his own little decree. All right, let me continue. He's making a proclamation. I got here in the Bible dictionary, Deuteronomy 33:5. It says, the proclamation of the Lord's kingship over Jeshurun, a name for Israel, is a reference back to the nation's deliverance from Egypt and giving of the law, when the leaders in the tribes assembled to receive God's commandments. When God brought the law to the people and gathered us under his rule and became their official king, the giving of the law was then the event that ratified his kingship over the nation. Okay, so let's go on. Let Reuben live and not die, let not his men be few. Deuteronomy 33:7, and this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou in help to him from his enemies. Then he goes to Levi in verse 8. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with the Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. Right, because the Levites had a specific, peculiar lot, separate from the rest of the brothers. They would be the Most High's priests, right? The priests of the nation of Israel. Now, Thummim and Urim, that light and perfections, was one of their ways in which they cast lots and make various decisions. But only Levites had that knowledge of it. Whom said unto his father and to his mother. Now check this out. What is Levi? It's still about Levi, the Levites. whom said unto his mother and to his father, I have not seen him. They didn't see their parents. Neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children. For they have observed thy word and kept thy commandment. And just in case you think this might mean something that it don't, maybe I got it mixed up. Let's go to the NLT, see how it's phrased in the NLT. The Levites obeyed your word and guarded your covenant. They were more loyal to you than to their own parents. They ignored their relatives and did not acknowledge their own children. They teach your regulations to Jacob. They give your instructions to Israel. They present incense before you and offer whole burnt offerings on the altar. Bless the ministry of the Levites, O Lord, and accept all the works of their hands. Hit their enemies where it hurts the most. Strike down their foes, so they shall never rise again. This is the blessing for Levi, who, because they had such a sacred and separate lot to be the priest and to give instructions to Israel and to make the offerings, it was as if they weren't even loyal to their own parents at times, or they ignored their relatives and didn't acknowledge their own children. It's written here, Deuteronomy 33:9. And so was that considered like a wicked and evil thing? No, it wasn't. It was a righteous thing, and Moses blessed them for it. Let's remember that, correlating with the words of Yahweh Shah, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Those that do the will of my Father. Mark 3:32. And the multitude sat about him, and they said unto him, Behold, our mother and our brethren seek for thee. And he answered, Who is my mother and my brethren? It's also in Mark. Luke 4:2-49, which is pretty interesting. Let's go into some of these, right? The context says, visit to Jerusalem. Verse 43, I'm skipping around. I'm starting at 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, as Yahushua is 12 at this time, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast, which is right around his birthday, the Passover, correct? It says, and when they, so-called birthday, and when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind them in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So they went on, and as they returned back to Egypt, they went on. I believe they were going from Egypt at that time. They went on, and he stayed behind in Jerusalem. So when they finally noticed he was gone, this was taking place. And it came to pass, verse 46, that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. He was blessed as a child. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. It's like your mom coming and looking for you for a few days. You've been gone. You can imagine the expression in which she made that statement. She said she'd been suffering, wondering what happened to you, sorrowful, grieving. Where was my son for the last 3 days? He's 12. We don't know where he is. This is Mary talking to Yahushua. Yahushua said, and he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Was not that I must be about my Father's business? Now how? Imagine a 12-year-old today telling his mom, what were you looking for me for? Let's see how they phrase that in the NLT real quick. But why did you need to search? He asked. Didn't you know that I must be in my Father's house? Yahushua, man. Yahushua. He was always about his Father's business since the time of 12. And he was consistently letting his parents and his mother and whomever, his brother and whomever it was, know that he about his Father's business, and his family are the ones that do the will of his Father. He let it be known. It says, and they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth, because they ain't going to understand. You tell your family, look, man, this is what I'll do now. I can't make it to the cookout. What you mean you can't make it to the cookout? We've been doing this Grandma wants you to be at the cookout. I can't make it. What time is it? It's on a Saturday. I'm out there on a Saturday. You can't switch your day around for grandma? I mean, the conversation, they never understand. Yahushua, you think Yahushua would have did it if they said, what about grandma? You think Yahushua would have not made that statement if because his mom was crying? Or it says, and they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. So they thinking like, what's wrong with our son? And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. But his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. Yeah, she remembered that. Yahushua increased in wisdom and stature and in favor of Yahweh and man. So if he did something too wrong, if he wronged his mother, why do you think he increased in wisdom, stature, and in favor with the Lord? You know what favor means? Approval, support, or liking for someone or something. The Most High approved that action. He approved that. He commended the Lord for that. He became kind, right, to his son because his son represented him. And that's the legacy that we also believe in and hold strong to as believers, joint heirs with the Yahushua, waiting for the coronation and the marriage with Yahushua, so we can also have favor and increase in wisdom and stature like Yahushua, who denied his parents, like the Levites who denied their families for the work and the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. As Yahushua stated himself to his disciples, you're not worthy of me if you love them more than me. And that's why this is about change the relationships. As you see here, change the relationship, and the relationships we're speaking of in particular are those of lineage, of bloodlines. No matter how close, no matter how long, the Yahweh Shem Yahushua will change your relationship with your family members because they won't understand, like Yahushua's mother didn't understand what he meant when he said, I'm about my father's business. They won't understand either, and that relationship will change. John 2:3, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Yahushua said unto him, they have no wine. Yahushua said unto her, woman, imagine that to this day, woman, as his mother, not Mary, not mother, woman, what have I to do with thee? My hour is not yet come. I mean, who could have been more raw than Yahushua? There's nobody, because he was, not because he was a disrespectful brat, not because he was a little bastard, but Yahushua was for his father, quite the opposite. He was dedicated, completely dedicated. Nothing come between his work that his father had set him up to do. Nothing. Not kin, not blood, not parents, not immediate family, not ties, family ties, not nothing. Not anything. Mine hour is not yet come. Woman, what have I to do with thee? 2 Corinthians 5:16. And let's read a little bit in here, and this is the last precept I'm going to bring out. 2 Corinthians 5:12. It says, for we commend not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on our behalf. Commend yourselves, meaning to big up yourself, like, boast of yourselves and your own accolades. So he's saying, but I give you glory on our behalf, to occasion the glory on our behalf, meaning that you'll see what we do and you probably going to, exalt us in your own, yourselves, that we don't have to do it, that you may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. There's men that glory in appearance, meaning they're all about how the ministry look instead of the ministry itself, instead of their own sincerity. That's what it means, glory in appearance and not in heart. That's what the other people do. That's all for the cameras, the glitz. For whether we be beside ourselves, it is Yahweh, and whether we be sober, for it is for your cause. Now we're seeing that there's a bigger thing going on. It's not about themselves. It's about the Father, and it's about the flock. Verse 15, for the love of Yahushua constraineth us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, we are all dead. Yahushua died. One died for all, then we are all dead. Dead to what? Dead to these lives. Scripture tell you that he that loveth his life shall lose it. And that's the understanding here. The love of Yahushua constraineth us. It says, and he that died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves. Kicker. That's the kicker. And that he died for all. That happened. You believe in Yahushua. You believe in the resurrection, the death and the resurrection. So you understand what he died for, the atonement of the sins of Israel. You understand that. That they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves. Now that you're alive because he died, now that you're alive now, you're really alive. You understand. You have an understanding why he died. So you believe on it. So you're really alive. You don't live unto yourself anymore. But unto him which died for them and rose again. Now you know who you're living for. So that cuts, my kid and my mama my baby mama and grandma, and I can't really, that cuts all that. You ain't living for yourself. If you was living for yourself, we'd understand. You go have your fun and live in paradise and put the word on the back burner and go for it. But that's if you was living for yourself. But you're not. It says, but unto him which died for them and rose again. That's Yahushua. So just like Yahushua lived for his father and said, I come to do the will of my father. Those that do the will of my father is my brothers. He pointed at the disciples, says, here's my brother, here's my father, here's my mother. That's your brethren. Those your family. The ones that's doing the will of Yahushua. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's your family. We your family now. You don't get it? It says, wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh. Yea, though we have known Yahushua after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. Therefore, if any man be in Yahushua, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Let's get this real quick in the NLT before I close it out. Verse 16 and 15. Watch this. Verse 16 and 17. So we have stopped evaluating 2 Corinthians 5 and 16 in the NLT. So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. What's the human point of view? Well, what's he doing and why is he doing that? And he did what to his mother? He said what to his mother? That's how they was evaluating Yahushua. He said what to his mother? That boy's rude. He said what to the king? Right? It says at one time we thought of Yahushua merely from a human point of view. How differently we know him now. That's the human point of view. This man died. He died like he went up on the cross. He did that, and yeah, he was a great guy. No. There was a bigger mission going on. He was doing the will of his father. He didn't just do that because, right? It don't say because Yahushua so loved the world that he died on the cross. For Yahweh so loved the world that he sent his son. Sent his son. That means the son knew about the mission from the jump. That's why he spoke like that. I'm about my father's business. Yahushua knew from birth that what he be doing was being about his father's business. And that overrode his system and all other luxuries that from human points of view, you get to consider why people should do this and what people should be doing. And you always evaluate. And it says, so we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. You know why? Because you got to evaluate them from a spiritual point of view. The spiritual point of view is you sacrifice for Yahushua because you don't live for your own life no more. You don't live for yourself. Verse 15, he died for everyone so that those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for Yahushua who died and raised it. You don't got your own self no more. We don't have I've been, through the spirit, brothers been saying this for years. It don't matter what I want no more. A long time ago it mattered. I told family this, everybody. It don't matter what I even want, man. It don't matter what you even want for yourself. It don't matter in this lifetime. This lifetime ain't even for you. It's not for you. This lifetime is for doing the will of Yahushua. That's it. Even unto death, unto blood, that's it. That's it. At least your life has been much more simplified than what they was trying to give you. You should be this, and you should be more of this, and should be more of that. No, you should be more of a servant to the will of the Messiah, period. Whether people come in your life and leave, Fast, slow, they're there for temporary time, short-lived, long-term, doesn't matter. They was there from the beginning, they not around no more. You gotta leave some in the process. Because you about your father's actions now. Your father, the Lord had to speak to his mother constantly concerning this very subject. Woman, what do I have to do with you right now? It's not my time. Says this, verse 17, this means that anyone who belongs to Yahweh Shai has become a new person. The old life is gone. A new life has begun. Lord willing, this video is edifying. Till next time, Shalom. Kwame Yasha'Allah. Let's get it.